Alrighty. Hello, everybody. This is going to be a commentated run of Inscryption, any percent, no major glitches. I'm TP Speed. And just a handful of things I want to note before the run actually gets started proper. I am going to leave a timestamp in the description if you just want to skip straight to the run. It'll go past the tutorial and everything. But I want to give quick shoutouts to Mads Brutal and her run of this game in Frost Fatales 2023, which served as the inspiration and foundation for me writing the console notes for this game, because I am playing on PS4, as well as a combination of the route that I saw her take, as well as the notes that were available on the speedrun.com forum. And handful of things. One, there are going to be a number of instances of flashing lights throughout this game, which I can't give too much of a warning on for a lot of them, but the ones that I can predict, I will try my best. And then there's also going to be a lot of images of self-harm and body horror, so that's something you're sensitive to. Just know that they are in like the first 30 minutes of the run or so. After that, they're gone. So if just the first 30 minutes aren't your thing, skip ahead a bit and you'll go right past it. But also, if you have not played this game yet, please do. It's very good. Either play the game or watch a full playthrough of it, because I am going to be going through the entire plot. I won't be talking too much about the story of this game. It'll mostly just be visual spoilers, so do be ready to see pretty much everything about this game. But for now, we're also... Sorry. Talking really fast. But we're also going to be going through the tutorial here, which timing does not start on, and I'm going to explain how the game is played. First things first, we wake up, we're at a table, and there's another set of eyes right across from us. It's your friendly neighborhood sleep paralysis demon, Leshy. And he's going to teach us how to play Inscryption. The game is basically like a combination of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering, in that it's similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! In that there are cards with little blood droplets on them, like you see on the stoat here, and they require a tribute in order to be played. You can play as many cards as you want in a turn. Some cards will require more tributes, and that'll be symbolized by having more droplets on them, like in the case of the wolf that's in my hand. And it's similar to Magic in that if a card is played directly in front of another one, it will block any damage it does until its health reaches 0. After that, if you attack an empty space, you deal damage to your opponent. The objective of the game is to deal 5 points of damage to your opponent. If your opponent does damage to you, it takes points away from what you've done. So, general gist, play cards, deal 5 points of damage to your opponent, win the game. Timing is going to start when Leshy says you find yourself lost in the woods. So in 3, 2, 1, go. So first things first, you might notice that on my splits it says that we have to die, which is true. We need to die twice in this run, because Inscryption is this first portion of Inscryption, at least, which is primarily where like the bulk of the design for the game went into, is a roguelike, is a deck building roguelike. And to progress the game, you need to die twice in order to actually get into the next phase of the game. And the difference between these first two phases and the rest of the game is these first two phases before you die are completely scripted. They play all the same cards, it's all the same spaces, everything like that. Give me 1 second. Mess this one up. There we go. There we go. So we open that safe there. That's going to become relevant in sequence 2, but these first two sequences are completely scripted, so it's always going to be the same spaces in the same order, same card rewards, same cards played, everything like that. And we're going to take advantage of that to set up stuff for sequence 3, or the sequence where we finally beat Act 1. Some of the stuff that you might have noticed right now are like those little markings on the bottom of cards. Those are sigils. Sigils are basically like effect text or keywords in Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! So, like right here, these two cards have a wing on them. That means they're flying. If a card is played in front of them, they fly over it and attack directly, kind of like Flight in Magic the Gathering. There are going to be flashing lights coming up in just a bit, but I'm going to keep going with my explanation of sigils. The sigils that we got right now on cards that we just played, or not the cards that we just played, but the sigils that we just got on cards that we picked up are Death Touch or Venomous in the game. I call it Death Touch because it works like Death Touch in Magic. On the Adder, which means if it deals any point of damage to a creature in front of it, no matter how much health it has left, it automatically dies. And then, I'm not sure what the other one is called, but on the Wolf Cub, it has what I call Evolution. And what that does is if the card is still around at the start of your next turn, it upgrades itself and becomes even stronger. So, like, a 3-2 card could become, like, a 4-2 card, or, like, a 4-5, something like that. Effectively. One of the other main mechanics for this first phase of Inscryption is the death card. Every time you die, Leshy wants to commemorate the occasion as, like, a little memorial, so he will ask you to design a card, take a picture of you, and then you start over. We're also going to get introduced to Bones here. Body Horror coming up right now. The way... So death cards work by... Leshy will present you with usually 2 random cards from your deck and ask you to pick them to design certain aspects of that card. With the setup that we took, we were guaranteed to get a card that costs 2... that costs 2 sacrifices, has 3/2 stats, and will always have Venomous and Evolution on it. And we're going to take advantage of that again here to try... There's a chance that we won't get it, but we're going to try to get another card that's 3/2, costs 2 bones, and has the Undying Sigil. I'll explain Undying in a moment when we get to the death card. As for what I mean by it costs bones, we just got... Oh, perfect. We just got introduced to bones in this tutorial here for the start of the second run. Bones are basically just another form of currency to play cards. When a card is destroyed, like be it it's tributed or another card just offset, it is a bone token is generated, and so it basically acts as like another currency to play cards. We're gonna lose here, but you might have noticed that I played a card called the Black Goat. The reason why I used my items earlier is because we really wanted to get the Black Goat in a jar, which we got, which was very lucky. And then to actually get for the game to recognize... Flashing lights coming up, by the way, sorry. For the game to recognize that a sigil has been used or has been played in some way, which is going to become relevant in the next sequence, you actually need to see what the sigil does. And the Black Goat's sigil, which I believe is called the Perfect Tribute, makes it count as 3 tributes instead of just 1. And we did this because now, at the start of our next sequence, the squirrels that we've been playing from our side deck are now going to count as 3 tributes instead of just 1. Unfortunately, this is a pretty bad card, so we almost never want to get it. Other thing I forgot to mention, death cards, instead of being added to your deck, are added to the general card pool. So every time we go into a space where we can pick up a card, there is now a chance that we will see death cards. But unfortunately, this one that we just made is really bad. So we're probably not going to get it. We're probably not going to use it. And now we're going to do some puzzles in here before we continue to play our game with Leshy. We do need to solve these puzzles here, but we don't want any of the prizes in them. There we go. But these next 2, we do want the prizes. There we go. We're going to get this wolf in a cage, which is going to be very important. There we go. And the wooden head of a squirrel, which is going to be what allows us to buff our squirrels with that perfect tribute sigil that I mentioned. Okay, I'm going to take the bird here. Ooh, magpie's really good. Magpie is very, very good. So, this is the woodcarver. The woodcarver is what's going to enable us to make our squirrels cost 3 tribute. Something I forgot to mention, at the start of your turn you can either draw from your main deck, which is where all the actually really strong cards are, or if you need fodder for tributing cards, you can draw a squirrel from just a side deck that's just filled with squirrels. But now all of our squirrels are going to cost 3. Are going to count as 3 tributes, which means they are quite strong, and pretty much make it so that we can win the game right away. Body horror coming right now. As you can see, we won on turn 1. Pretty much our strategy going forward from this, because at this point now it's completely random. I'm gonna take this. Quartz maggots are fine. Our strategy going forward is we're going to want to get our wolf as strong as possible and make it so that when we play the wolf on our first turn, we win. There's a number of ways we can do this. One is to buff it up to 5 attack, which is exactly what we need to win the game. But the other way that we can do this, I'm actually going to put the caged wolf right here. But another way that we can do this is by giving it bifurcated strike. When a card with bifurcated strike attacks, it attacks twice, once in each column adjacent to the space in front of it. And one of the other objectives that we wanted to pull off is we wanted the caged wolf to die, which sets free another wolf. And it also, if you were paying attention, something happened. The table shook. Something weird happened. And that's important for something that we're going to do in the cabin itself later. But that's not going to come up for quite a while. This space right here is the Trapper. The Trapper is going to give us furs, and furs, unfortunately, are only good for trading, but you don't have a spot to hold on to them, so they're going to get shuffled into your deck. And if you draw a pelt, you have a dead draw, and it makes you sad. It is not very good, and it does not feel great. It does not feel great. Now we're coming into a tribute space. I'm going to tribute off the magpie here, and I'm going to give it to the stoat. This way now, the reason why the magpie is so good is because the magpie has flying, and it also has a search effect. So when you play the magpie, you're allowed to search out any card in your deck and immediately add it to your hand. By giving it the stoat, whenever we play that now, we immediately get to add one of our cards to our hand right away. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. Go. And we win. There we go. And now we're going to go into the trader, which lets us switch out our pelts for something else. Usually another card, actually. We're looking for something with bifurcated strike. There is nothing with bifurcated strike. So what I'm going to take instead is the grizzly, because the grizzly is very, very strong. And then I'm going to head over to this spot right here. This is the campfire, and the first campfire you run into is always guaranteed to buff your strength of one of your cards. I'm going to buff the grizzly, so now whenever I play the grizzly on turn 1, I immediately win the game. After that, it's a coin flip on what it will give you. But now we're coming into our boss fight. Boss fights, you have to do only on 1 life, while they have 2. And they all have a special gimmick to them. This first boss fight is against the Prospector. And the Prospector's first gimmick is that it has the pack mule here. And the pack mule... put this here. I can win this turn, I believe. Yeah, I can win this turn. And the pack mule, when it is destroyed, adds 4 cards to your hand, including a squirrel, so that you can play it. But that doesn't matter because we just won. And now for the other gimmick. He clears out your field and fills it with gold nuggets, which are just there to eat up space, basically. You got very lucky drawing the corpse maggots there, which is actually a pretty solid draw. We're going to play this wolf here. And now, over the course of 2 turns, we're going to win. That was a very good prospector fight there. That was very, very good. It's, and now every time you beat a boss, you also get a choice of 1 out of 3 rare cards. I am going to be looking for the Mantis God. We didn't get it, unfortunately, so I'm going to take Child 13 here. Child 13 Sigil basically means you can treat it as a tribute infinite number of times. If it is killed by another monster, it's dead. But you can tribute it as many times as you want. Okay, so next card selection here, we're going to look for the Mantis. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, so I'm going to take the Raven Egg. I'm going to go here and immediately get rid of the Raven Egg, because I don't really want that. Because the Raven Egg's not very good, and I'm going to give it to a wolf. We're also coming up into the space called the Mycologist. They take a duplicate from your deck and combine them together into a card, and that means they combine their stats as well. So our wolf is about to jump up to a 6/4 card with evolution, which is quite strong, in all honesty. And now we win this turn because our wolf is at a 4/4. There we go. Card space here. Let's look at my options. Mantis is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Because the Mantis has Bifurcated Strike, and if I run into a space that lets me tribute it off, I can pass it on to something else, and that is very good. So now our wolves are going to become 6/4, and they have evolution now. So we have 2 instant win cards in our deck. If we get either of them, the game is over. There we go. I'm gonna go onto the right so I can get the Mantis out of my deck. Get another Mantis, that's actually pretty good. Because now I can pass it on to 2 cards. I'm going to give the Mantis Bifurcated. I'm going to give Bifurcated Strike to my Grizzly, which is going to be important later. You might be wondering, Speed, why are you putting Bifurcated Strike on a card that will already automatically win you the game? It's because of the final fight, but we'll save that for later. Alright. Play Child 13 here. Play the Stoat. Get a Wolf. And that's the game. And then I'm going to go left, because we want to get items. I don't need the Ringworm. I'm going to take the Rat King here. And now we're coming up into our next boss fight, which is going to be against the Angler. And the Angler is tricky. I'm going to take the Hourglass here, the Fan, and the Scroll in a Jar. So the Angler's gimmick is starting on the 2nd turn. When his turn starts, he will steal the last card that you played, like the most recent one. And then on phase 2, after you beat him once, he fills the board to block your spaces with, okay, this is an interesting hand. I'm going to play the Rat King here, Smoke, here. That's a win right there. So he fills the board with buckets of chum, and if they're destroyed, they summon 4/2 sharks that become invincible at the end of the turn. Unless it's on his turn, then they're visible. But since we have the fan, and the fan grants temporary flight until the end of the turn, we get to win right away. The fan makes pretty quick work of... I'm going to take the pack rat here. Of the angler. The pack rat, when we play it, an item gets added to our inventory. If we have 3 items, then nothing happens. I am going to take this space on the right. This is the beast within the cave. He's going to give you a trial. If you succeed, you will get a random, very powerful card. Unfortunately, we failed, but that's okay. Now we're going to get an item space, and we get to pick one more card. I'm going to take the fan. Alright. And we win. Because I usually play the Grizzly, and it's over. The wolf would have stayed a little bit more time, but the grizzly gets us there right away. I'm going to go over here. We either want to do a bunch of damage, or we want a card eventually that will give us Death Touch. I'm going to go for Kitten. Didn't get it. Dang. That's okay. No extra cards are added, and we're actually going to remove a card from our deck now. I am going to remove the bullfrog because it's not particularly good. Now the Bone Lord is going to give us a special boon that at the start of our turn, or at the start of a game, we get a bone token automatically added to our inventory, which is very, very good. I'm going to take a squirrel in a jar. Get 2 squirrels. Pack rat. Mantis. I'm going to use the hourglass here. There we go. I'll take the other corpse maggot. And I'm going to go left here so I can tribute it off. I'm going to tribute off the corpse maggot. Its sigil means when it is killed, the creature in hand, if a creature is killed on the field while it is in your hand, it will automatically summon itself free of charge. So now we gave that to Child 13, so now we have an infinite tribute monster that can summon itself effectively. Okay, and we just won this turn. There we go. We're not doing too bad right now. This is the smoothest I've seen Act 1 go. I'm going to pick this just because I can easily win this one. There we go, we already won. And we're going to look for something with Death Touch. That is the worst thing to have Death Touch. I'll take the cat, I guess. Alright, and then we're going to do something very quickly before we actually go into the boss fight here. We're going to just take these, just so we keep our bonus. And you might have noticed that when the cage wolf died earlier, something shook, and now this wolf that was in a cage is free. And now we have a knife. That knife is going to be very important in the boss fight against the Trapper. So the Trapper's gimmick is, the first phase has fake frogs that when killed turn into traps, and when those traps are killed, any creature in front of it is turned into a pelt and added to our hand. And you can't use flight to block it at all, but that doesn't matter because now we have the wolf in our hand. And I'm going to need to tribute off the smoke here just so I can do this. There we go. Also, the most dramatic imagery is about to come up of self-harm and body horror, so please be ready for that. And so now, the other gimmick for the trader is you have to trade off cards using the furs in your hand. Here it is, body horror, by the way. We did 4 damage in 1 turn. We do need to do that to progress the game. But now the fight's over. As you can see, the trapper is if you can get to the trader is pretty free. And now we're going to pick out another card reward. I am going to take the amalgam here. And now we need an eye, so why don't we just pick out a really nice eye to get? Oh, this one's shiny. Let's take that. Pay no mind to the sigils or everything on the side. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Find salvation in Cuckoo Clock. Well, I don't know about you, but when a box talks to me, I do what a box tells me to do. So really quick, we're going to get up from this table here, and we're going to head over here. I am going to, just for safety really quick, do this first. And set this up so that we get this. And we need all of those to progress through the game. And now I'm going to fill up on my items again. I am going to take that. And here we go. For our final encounter, we're going to fight Leshy. But before we do, Leshy is going to give us the opportunity to get 2 great boons from him. And the reason why I took the ring is because we're guaranteed now to get the challenge of the ring to pop up, and it's an automatic win if we have that ring on our hands. Oh wow. I don't think I can win any of these. I don't have any pelts in my deck. Yeah. So we're only doing this with 1 boon. If I can get Magpie, that'd be great. I'll take Ambidextrous because Ambidextrous is very, very strong. So, if you're lucky, you can do this with 2. You can do this with 2 boons, which in the last couple of runs I've tried to do for this game, I've gotten 2 boons. But with Ambidextrous, now at the start of our turn, we get to draw twice. So pretty much no matter what we draw, unless it's a card that requires bones, we can play it immediately. So we should be pretty set. And Leshy is a little bit of a cheater, though. Because we have to do this in 1 life. And he doesn't just have 2 lives. He's got 3. And each phase is going to be very different from one another. The first phase, he's only going to be playing with rare cards. And the first thing that you should know about Leshy is he's going to be playing using pretty much every gimmick of each boss. But since I'm guaranteed to start with the Stoat here, I don't have to worry about it. We're going to clear off this card using the scissors that I got. I'm going to play the Smoke. We're going to put the Stoat right here. And I'm going to grab my Grizzly here. There's a reason why I'm grabbing specifically the Grizzly. I'm going to pick the Squirrel, and we're going to put the Grizzly down right here. And we're good to go. And just like that, we won. That's phase 1. Coming into phase 2, which we're already set to win on this turn. I'm going to draw from my main deck. And then from the Squirrel deck. Doesn't matter what we play here, so I'm just going to attack and we win. Now, unfortunately, we don't have anything with Death Touch, which would have made this fight go a lot quicker, but that's okay. You might be wondering what Leshy's going to do now. We're fighting the moon. We're fighting the moon. We are just fighting the moon. I am going to play the squirrel here, and then I'm going to play the pack rat right here so I can get another item. I got another squirrel, and then I'm going to play the stink bug there. And now, since the stink bug has the stink sigil, this means that, for whatever reason, the moon, which has no nostrils, cannot attack us because it has no stats anymore. If you have Death Touch, you can kill the moon in one hit. But unfortunately, we don't have Death Touch, and that's the fastest way to win the fight, but we don't really need it. This is the fastest Act 1 I have ever had. I am genuinely shocked at this. Oh my lord.
I think I just made him. Oh.
Yeah, so we're not playing Inscryption. We're playing as a guy playing a floppy disk of Inscryption. That's the story. There's more to it, but that's me putting it very simply because it gets very meta. Flashing lights are going to be coming up in a moment, by the way. And now Leshy, to congratulate us, wants to take a picture of the whole thing to make a card to commemorate our experience and our victory. But if you might remember from him taking a picture of us and the moon, the camera turns things to cards. He's a card. We're going to grab the new game button, and we're going to go back to the main menu. Yes, I said the new game button because, fun fact, if you go into this game with a completely like wiped file or anything like that, or like reset story progression, you don't have a new game button. You can only continue. So now we're actually going to see what the story of this game is. The plot of Inscryption, the game, not the one that I am playing, is there's a world where with 4 scribes who make powerful cards of magic, and they each have their own way to do it. And now, someone needs to come and replace one of them, and that's us. And we get to pick a starter deck now, and the starter decks are going to play around different mechanics for Inscryption. A bunch of new mechanics are introduced in this game at this act. I'm not going to go into them because we're pretty much never going to see them, but I will go into them in Act 3 when they come up. And also very quickly, as we walk out, we're going to pause, go into the card menu here, and build our deck. So now we're gonna go here. The goal of this point of the run is we want to build, we want to get a specific card here so that we can get enough money to build our final deck. Didn't get it here, so I have to do this fight here. The card we're looking for is called Bone Heap, and that's gonna let us earn enough money to get what will end up being the card that we use to win the game for this act. I'm going to play this here, and play this here. Put this here, and this over here to block that skeleton. That skeleton. Oh, I'm gonna lose actually. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I was gonna lose either way. Whoops. Oh well. That's fine, I can just fight again. Losing doesn't cost that much time. Go. For this fight, we want to do 4 points of overkill damage, so we're pretty much just going to be walking our opponent down to 1 health to the point where we can kill them right away. I'm going to play this. this one right here. There we go. This out, play a skeleton, and then next turn, I'm just gonna empty out my whole hand. This should do it. There we go. Okay, yeah, we didn't get it. There is a chance you can get the bone heap from that guy, which I've gotten a number of times, and it's a little annoying, but it doesn't lose any time. So we're gonna buy bone heap here, and very quickly we're gonna add it to our deck. And now we're going to take advantage of this fight. Oop, I got rid of the wrong thing. Whatever. We're going to take advantage of this fight to build up the money to where we need to be. And then I'm going to play this one right here. Here. And first things first, we need to get our bone count up to about 42. And we want to take as little damage as possible as well. That's fine. 5 is too many bones, honestly. Skeleton right here. I have plenty of skeletons I can block that back with. I'm gonna use the zombie to walk this down. There we go. Should get there pretty quick now, though. There's the bone heap. There we go. And now we're going to see the fruits of our labor. And our bone heap is going to get very strong. The reason why we need bone heap is because we can spend 2 bones to buff its stats up by 1/1. And now it's at 23-24. So I'm gonna have a little bit extra than I intended. But that's fine. There we go. And now for the foundation of our deck. I'm going to go ahead and do this here just because I have to come back here later anyways. What I was just picking up right there is just epitaphs, and that's going to be important for a puzzle there later. For safety, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab this clover. The clover basically acts as a mulligan, so I can just redraw my hand if I need it. We're going to come up here to Leshy, speak to him. He's going to tell us about if we want to battle him, we got to beat his minions. And now we're also going to open up the safe, which has the same combination that we put in before, which is 273. There's going to be some meat. We take a picture of it. And now we're going to buy the Ouroboros, which is the most important card in this portion of the run. And we're going to buy a bunch of squirrels. I'm going to split here since I got the Ouroboros. And now we're going to build up our deck, which is entirely just going to be the Ouroboros, a bunch of squirrels, the bone heap, and all the skeletons. And the reason why we build a deck like this is because now we're guaranteed to open the game, pretty much every game, with a rare card in our hand. Whoops. Oh, that's right. I have to go give the dog his food. I don't know why I forgot that. Take a picture of the dog. What am I doing? There we go. We're now guaranteed to open the game with a rare card, usually the Ouroboros, and a bunch of ways to summon it. Okay, so we actually don't want to win this game right away. We want the Ouroboros to hit 4/4 stats. And the reason why I say that is because the Ouroboros, when it is killed, it returns back to your hand and gains 1/1 stats permanently, like across every game that you play. And we're going to take advantage of this hound here initially to get Ouroboros down to 3/3. And now we're just going to wait around for a little bit. And now next turn we're going to win with the Ouroboros at 4/4. There we go. So now anytime we have the Ouroboros in hand and we have a skeleton or any card that can do 1 damage, we win immediately. And you might be wondering, Speed, why don't you get the Ouroboros to 5/5? You would win in 1 hit. There's a fight we're going to be doing later that will immediately kill the Ouroboros and put it at 5/5 later anyways. If you do 5/5 now, it'll go up to 6/6, and every fight you do, you will get overkill and you will earn currency, and that will cost you time. And just like that, we win. Play the skeleton here, and that's that. So yeah, pretty much every game now is just going to be play an Ouroboros and a skeleton, and you win. Act 2 is the most chill and like relaxed part of the run. Once we get to Act 3, it does get a little crazy again. There are a bunch of new symbols on the cards right now, I know. I'm not going to go into them yet because, like I said, it's almost never going to come up. Oh, can I make it? Yes! Okay. That's a pretty tight window to make it over there for the manipulation. Every time, so if the Ouroboros is at 6/6, it'd give us currency every time, and that loses us time overall in the run. But this way, we do 5 damage every turn exactly, and we win. And then once we get into that fight with Grimora and get Ouroboros up to 5/5, it just turns into play Ouroboros, win the game, no matter what. So now we're going to fight Leshy. This fight's pretty easy. All we're really going to do is what we've been doing already. We're just going to set this up so that we can win on this round. In Act 2, you do have to beat every boss twice. Not every boss, like, twice in a row, but, like, you have to beat each boss in a game 2 times. And now we're going to fill up the board with our skeletons. And this will win us the game. There we go. That's Leshy. There we go. And now there is going to be a cutscene skip that I'm going to be doing here. normally what happens is you start to leave, and then Poe or PO3, one of the other scribes, shows up and he laughs at Leshy and it's just like, ha ha ha, you thought you could keep us trapped in that version of the game forever, blah 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 blah. But he's kind of a jerk, and we don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear anybody trash my man Leshy. He just wanted everybody to have a good game. Yeah, it got very gruesome, but he's just a stand-up dude. He just wanted to have a fun time, mostly. Pretty much all of the other scribes are decent people in terms of plot. It's literally just Poe who's kind of a jerk. But now all we're going to be doing is just solving, finishing up this area over here, solving puzzles, and getting the epitaphs that we need in order to fight Grimora. And then we're gonna pretty much blitz through Act 2 pretty fast. Alright, so let me scroll down to my headstones here. Left is Casey Hobbs. Hit by Falling Ice. The defibrillator failed. And we're gonna go here. This one is Sawyer Patel. Eaten by a Hungry Dog. Doesn't hold a grudge. And then this one is just all of this. There we go. And now we're gonna fight Grimora. Each of these characters do technically have a gimmick, but it goes so fast that we don't really see the gimmick. Grimora is unique, though, for this in that she is the only fight that we cannot beat in round 1. So it doesn't really matter what we do here. Give me a good draw. There it is. Perfect. That was very risky what I did. But now, that's a naughty word, Carter. You can't be saying that. But now Ouroboros is out. We don't want to play the other Ouroboros because if we tribute it, it comes back to our hand and Ouroboros becomes 6/6. And that's very bad. That loses us time. There we go. Just like that, Grimora is done. And now that Ouroboros is at 5/5 and we're guaranteed pretty much always to start with it in our hand, it's just going to be a game of play Ouroboros, win the game. We're also going to have another video segment coming up. So we're just going to back out of here. Again, I cannot stress this enough. You should play this game or look into the story. It's very good, and it's very intriguing, especially when you get to some of the real world ARG stuff involved. It's very cool. We're gonna head down into the Wizard's Tower. Grab this. And then this is going to be Skull. Wing and Skull again. And we're going to fight the Goo Wizard. There is a very important character in this tower that will come up later, and I will point them out when we see them. And that's the game. There is the chance in Act 1 that you can see Ouroboros as one of the rare drops from in Act 1. And the buffs that it gets there do carry over, I believe, but it's pretty rare. The arm is what I'm looking for. There it is. And then the wing. There it is. Once again, I'm not really gonna... A bunch of new mechanics are getting introduced here. I'm not gonna go into them just because... they aren't super relevant right now, because you see how all these fights go. It's literally just summon Ouroboros, the game's over. But they are going to come up in Act 3, so I will explain more about them later. Just know that gemstones are here, energy is here, and those things are all pretty important in Act 3. Okay, and then this one, this is going to have the most important character across Act 3, so be prepared for that. Here he is, everyone's favorite, Stimulation. Once again, shout out to Matt's Brutal. This is the Lonely Wizard. Lonely Wizard is going to be extremely important in Act 3. Please remember them. You're also going to see them, like, once again in a little bit. I'm not even talking about in Act 3. You're going to see them again in, like, a minute or two. Get some more cards that we're not going to use. And now this is Magnificus. Magnificus's gimmick, which is a pretty slow one, there's nothing we can really do about it though, is he will change your cards' keywords effectively and make them all do something different. But since we can win in one turn, it doesn't really matter. Hey, there's our guy, the little lonely wizard. There's our little dude. Everyone say goodbye to our little dude. We'll miss you, bud. Alrighty. And now Magnificus is going to give us some kind of warning about something. Oh, he's gone. That doesn't seem good. Oh well, I'm sure it's probably fine. Just like a fetch quest or something. So now we're going to hop on down and we're going to go into the next stage of Act 2 against the final scribe, which is going to be Poe, or again, PO3, depending on what you prefer. I go with Poe just because PO3 is a bit of a mouthful to say when you're doing commentary like this. And here we're going to solve just some standard puzzles. Circuitry and all that. I think it's just like video game circuitry, so not actual circuitry. Who knows? Do this here. Then we're gonna fight his next henchman. I do have a cheat sheet for these all in my notes, thankfully. And you already know how this goes. Play 2 cards. Drop down Ouroboros. Act 2 is like the point where the game is in kind of a lull, where it's a little slow, but pay no mind to the fact that his head is there. Okay, this one is -1, +1 on all the zeros. There we go. But once we hit Act 3, it does get a little crazy. It does get a little wiggly, as Charlatan Wonder would say. +1 here, put this here, and then the -1 on the other 0, and we're good to go. There we go. Alright. There we go. Okay. And now this dude is gonna just throw his face also onto the conveyor belt. Again, don't worry about it, totally normal. We're gonna put these 2 over on the right. And then +1 on the -2s. There we go. And then for this one up top, which is going to be empty circuit right here, +1 on the -1, +0 in between right here, and -1 on the 0. There we go. And that opens up the elevator, which we're gonna hop on down. And we're gonna fight this guy. Fun fact about a lot of the characters in Poe's area, they mostly don't really want to fight you, and after a handful of turns, they just kind of give up. This one in particular doesn't even play any cards. He literally just surrenders on the start of his next turn. But it's faster just to beat him. Also, you may see something right now. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the big flashing image right there. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. It's nothing. There's no devil program or like sentient computer program or like coding from Satan himself in there. It's nothing. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Alright, now Poe's gimmick, we actually do kind of have to play a little differently for. They use a conveyor belt for their fight, so we have to play our card to the middle left column. Because everything slides over to the left. So now we deal damage right away, and we get the win. And that's Poe. Now normally, you can exit out here, load into the game again, and it'll put you at the beginning area, so you can pick one last scribe to have a duel against. But every time you quit out on the console version, it adds a little bit of lag, so I prefer just to walk back. It doesn't lose that much time anyway. It's like a handful of seconds at that. But now we're going to duel against Poe. And there's a brand new gimmick in this game that we really want to see Bone Heap in our hands for. Oh, we didn't get it. We got to surrender. That's an L right there. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about it. No, this is fine. Pay no mind to it going 3D all of a sudden. Don't worry about it. This is normal. We're all good. This is fine. We're all good. This is what every game does, you know? This is it. How are you doing today? How are you? Do you want a pizza? I could go for some pizza. I can order us a pizza. Do you want a pizza? Alright. Welcome to Act 3. As you can probably guess, it does not matter if you win or lose that fight against Poe. It's just faster to surrender, because either way you get to here. And so now, we're in Act 3. And I have to be careful here, because there is a glitch that will soft lock me if I keep mashing the movement buttons. Once his face changes, or once dialogue starts is when I spark here. There we go. Alright. So this is the beginning of Act 3 is the next difficult part of the run, because we have to go through like 6 or 7 fights, pretty much with an awful deck and just hope that we don't die. But now we have a new mechanic being introduced, which is energy. Kind of similar to how energy works in like Hearthstone. You have an ever-increasing amount of energy that stocks itself up every turn. I'm going to put the empty vessel right here. There we go. That stocks itself up every turn, so that or that ups its stock every turn, and then also refills itself at the start of your turn. And that makes it so that you can pretty much play cards all the friggin' time. It's very interesting, and we're going to get introduced to a bunch of new mechanics later as well. I didn't want to do that, but whatever. I'm about to get a whole bunch of money right now. I actually might get all the money that I need right here. Very close. All right. We want at least 6. And now we're going to start heading to the east. And we're going to grab this battery right here. This is also where the difference between this game being on PC and console can start to show up, as well as, like I had mentioned before, interacting with multiple puzzle pieces at the same time. But this is another really big point for that. Okay, I am going to play the shield bot right here. I'm going to put an empty vessel here. I'm going to use my battery, and then I'm going to play a sniper bot here. Put this down here. Right there, empty vessel. Oh, I can't play empty vessel. Right. And that's that. There we go. All right. We got another fight here. Bridge fights can be kind of tricky because, as you can see, we now have very few spaces to work with. And that can make them kind of annoying. But this first bridge fight's not that bad, in all honesty. I'm going to play the sniper bot. Actually, no. I'm going to play the shield bot right here. And then I'm going to clear out the energy bot right here, and I'm going to put the sniper bot right here. I'm only going to be dealing 1 damage anyway, so it doesn't particularly matter. Clear out the shield bot, and play the double gunner. There we go. As you can see now, pretty much all of the mechanics that were in the main game itself, quote unquote, are now here. And across this bridge. And instead of going right, we're going to go down this hidden path here so that we can skip over 2 fights and head into this next bridge fight right here. Okay, empty vessel right here to block this Annoyabot. Or alarm bot, that's what it's called. Annoyatron is a Hearthstone thing, I don't know why I said that. Put this here, I'm going to take this energy cell and put this guy right here. Okay. He's gonna be close. I can't play it. Oh my god, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, it's better for me to just take a loss here. It's faster generally on console to take any loss that you get here, just because quitting out, which is normally faster, is what adds lag to the screen, as you can see.
Oh, damn it.
But it's not that much of a problem. I can just walk back. Ooh, I forgot to pick up my money. That's not good. Okay. Well, I can't lose this one now. Energy bot here. Sniper bot here. I think I lost again. We'll see in a second. Yeah. It's going to be very close at least. Yeah, no, I just lose here. I'm just going to back out. Because I don't want to lose the money. Like I said, this is like the next hardest fight in the game. Or like this section is like the next hardest. This beginning part of Act 3. Oh boy. Grab the money so I can take the loss if I need to. The energy vessel here to block. I'm gonna put the energy bot there. Shield bot right here. There we go. There we go. We're in the clear now. Slower fight here, but that's fine. We got it. We got there. That's a pretty difficult fight. And now Poe is going to very kindly let us get up from the table. And we're going to take advantage of that to grab some items from his drawers that we need. We're going to start with this left one over here. There we go. We're going to grab Mrs. Bomb, which is just a remote that fills the board with bombs. Put these down, put that down, all these down, and this up. There we go. We're going to grab the Lonely Wizbot. The boy that craves stimulation. Once again, shout out to Mads. And this card is going to be the most important card in our entire deck. But really quick, we're going to solve some Captcha. Whoops. There we go. There we go. And we're going to grab this, turn around, plop it back on the table, and now we're going to keep moving. Okay. And now for the biggin. We want to get Bifurcated Strike on the Lonely Wizbot here. And this can take anywhere from like 2 to 10 tries. We didn't get it there, so now we go back to the start. This is the most random point of the run. I've had this take me 2 tries. I've had it take me like 10. So be prepared and get comfy. This is like the other big reset point of the run. But once we get past here, it's pretty much free. We're pretty much home free. And the reason why we step back down instead of just trying to do it again, texture glitch, instead of just trying again is because stepping down a screen advances the RNG. Okay, we didn't get it. I thought he offered me the same thing twice for a second. Here we go. And we'll know we'll get Bifurcated Strike when we see a little circle with an arrow going left and right in it. And we want to get that onto the Wizbot because if we do, that basically means if we open Wizbot in our hand, we can win pretty reliably, like right away. Down, move up, stand up, sit down. There we go. Only Wizbot. There it is, third try. That's actually pretty good. That's not that bad. Okay, and now we get to continue the game. So we're gonna go back over to Eastern Botopia here, and now we're gonna get ready to go into one of our first boss fights. This is not where I wanted to go. We're gonna head down first. This is where I wanted to go. We're gonna head down a couple of screens, and I am going to block right here. We're going to head down a couple of screens, do a handful of fights right away. I'm going to use this here and play the energy bot right here. Before we get into the next major area of the run. There we go. We're going to end our turn here because we win. There we go. One more fight right here. Alright, we got some EXE skeletons coming up, so I'm just going to put this here. And now I'm going to play the Lonely Wizbot right here. And we win on this turn. There we go. As you can see, with Wizbot, we can win pretty reliably, but we want to be able to make it so that we can win in one go. But now we're going to be trading cards. We're looking for an EXE skeleton. We didn't get one, unfortunately. I'll take Skeletlatcher, which is still pretty useful. And we don't need the energy bot anymore from this point forward, so we're just going to get rid of it. I'm going to cross over here. Alrighty. I am going to put an empty vessel right here. Okay, and Lonely Wizbot right here in the center. Go. And the Wizbot is safe, so we're good. I'm going to put Skeletlatcher right here. Play Sniper Bot, and that should get us the win. There we go. Not bad. Now we get the item refill. Oops. We're gonna head up here, and now for why we took the Wizbot. And this is the most risk-reward part of the run. We're going to overclock Wizbot. What does this mean? Well, we're gonna give Wizbot 1 extra power, but in exchange, if Wizbot dies, it is permanently removed from the game. So we want to make sure Wizbot does not die. We're going to head up into this fight here. I'm going to just block one of these. At this point now, though, if we play Wizbot, we pretty much win immediately. no matter what we do. So I'm just going to put Wizbot here, and then we're going to win on the next turn. There we go. We're going to grab that quill because we do need it for later. We're going to head up now into the Archivist boss fight. And the Archivist actually is one of those fights that is different between PC and console. On PC, the Archivist will actually go through your computer's real files and ask you to pick one that is really large. But since you can't really do that on console, what they do instead is they simulate a PC for you to pick files from. And I routed out which ones you should pick, just to make sure that you can go through this pretty quickly. So first things first, we're going to grant access to the computer, and we're going to give them recordings 0402007. We're going to give them this file right here. And the next one we're going to give them is 06222009 in recordings here. This one right here. After this, anything from the recording file should get us the win. I'm gonna do 04. There we go. And now any file we pick here, we'll do it. There we go. And now we're just going to pick any old file here. It doesn't matter which one, because we're more than likely not going to play this card at all. The fight is now over. That's the Archivist. That's how you do it on console. There we go. And now we're going to very carefully, we're just going to sit and wait until the game loads back in, because you can soft lock by mashing movement too much. There we go. Memory card is full. We're going to boot out of here. And now we're going to fast travel to Central Botopia, because now we're going to get crystals. Whoops. We got a fight coming up here, but once again, if we're able to summon the Wizbot, it's over, so it doesn't matter all that much. Okay, there we go. Put the Wizbot here. Get some damage in. We're going to use this recycle tile that I almost missed, and we're going to use it to get rid of our shield bot here. We're basically going to be thinning out the deck as much as we can to guarantee that the Wizbot will always be in our opening hand. Because right now it's decently likely, but it's not 100%. So we're going to go into this boss fight over here. Or not boss fight, just this fight over here. I am going to play the empty vessel right here because I can't block that other one. And now we're going to play the Wizbot right here, because that's a win right there. Okay. This activates. We're going to head into here, and now we're going to have to get up from the table once again to get an item that Poe seems to forget. As you can tell, Poe is a very forgetful DM. So these are all the same. Okay, and then this is 12, 4, 11. here, grab this indicator for the gems, head over here and give it to Poe, and now we get gems. Gems were first introduced in Act 2, and what they do is they basically act as a, as like sigils almost, but in an even more passive way, I guess. Here. Basically, if a card with sigils is played, the not the sigils, with gems on it is played, the gems on it directly buff or interact with the cards that you have on the field. And we're gonna give Lonely Wizbot a makeover here. So what we did is we turned all of our vessels into sapphire vessels, which means that pretty much now, whenever we really, really need to, we can use the battery pack when we have the Lonely Wizbot in our hand, summon it on turn 1, and win immediately. Because since it's Sapphire, it costs 1 less. Because that's what Sapphire does. So now all we have to do is just sit here and then this fight is over. And it's supposed to look all menacing of like, oh, if my face reaches 0, you lose. But we do 8 damage a turn. It's over. It's pretty easy. There we go. And now, once again, we're going to trade. We're looking for... Okay, that's not ideal, but whatever. I'm going to take this vessel here, and we're going to get rid of... what would have been the EXE skeleton. We're going to get rid of the Skella launcher. Okay, we're going to play the Sapphire Vessel here, and we're going to take the battery and play the Lonely Wizbot, and we win this turn. There we go. First things first, we're going to head down and activate that array, which we really needed to do. I'm going to go here, and we're going to go to the recycle, and we're going to get rid of our shield bot, or our sniper bot here. What? That was weird. It didn't do it. Strange. But now we've guaranteed that the Wizbot is going to be in our hand at all times. So now we're just going to go into this fight here. Play the Sapphire bot right there. And Lonely Wizbot right here. There we go. Now, something that I found out the hard way for this upcoming boss fight, it's important that we play the Wizbot 1 space away from the first card that we play in the game. Otherwise, we just lose, and it's a bad time. There we go. And that's that. Now we're coming into the boss fight. Oops. The painter. Or I call it the artist. So, for this fight, you actually have to design what it looks like. And we're just going to pick these two first. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set it so that at the start of my turn, one of their cards gains armor. I'm going to play a Sapphire bot right here, and then I'm going to use this battery to play Lonely Wizbot right here. And now next turn. For this one, we are going to have it be we lose 1 life every time our turn starts. Reason being is because we're about to win anyway, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. And that was that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make our... we're going to give a buff to our empty vessels, and we're going to set it so that they give us an energy. So now, pretty much no matter what happens, our vessels now... there it is. Our vessels now will make our cards cost less, will give us an energy right away so that we can play our Wizbot immediately, and we're pretty much set. We can just take care of everything right away. Oh, I actually went to the wrong space. We want to go to Eastern Botopia first. Into this fight. We're going to play this here, and then Lonely Wizbot right here. I gotta reload this. As you can see, we're pretty close to the end of the game, though. We only have like 2 more bosses to fight, and then we have a 6-minute auto-scroller about. Go to Eastern Botopia here. I'm going to stand up and sit back down just so it auto-saves that I'm here. And we're going to head into this fight. Okay, so I am going to play the Explode bots here. Just to help out clear out the board. And now we play a Sapphire vessel here. I'm going to play the Wizbot here, and then another vessel right here. Not what I wanted to do, but I still got the same result. What? What? That's right, it does damage, that's why. Oh boy. Whew. Whew, it's a good thing I caught that. Oh, that would have been bad. Okay. This fight is a little tricky. There we go. Now we're going to play the explode bots. That should take care of it. Here we go. go. Solve that problem right there. That fight took a little bit, but we got there. That was a little scary, but we got there eventually. Okay, up into the next fight. And this fight is significantly easier because I can just do this. There we go. Should also mention that we are playing this game offline, and that is important for something that for one of the boss fights that's going to come up later. Into the trade, and we're gonna hope for not a me bot. I will take alarm bot. Why not? I'll give him double gunner because I don't need it. Into this next fight. Lonely Wizbot right here. And that's that fight right there. And now we're going to go into the cabin for the next fight. Which is against the photographer. And you already know how this fight is going to go. We play one card, we play this here, and we end our turn. And now, the gimmick for the photographer is that it takes a picture of the board and it can restore it to the state that it was in, but it really doesn't matter if we do that or not, so we're just not going to. And now, I'm going to play the alarm bot here, and we win. There we go. And now for the final boss fight of the game, which is going to be against where Poe would be in the overworld. We're not going to take anything from here. We're going to go ahead and fast travel. That's to the tower. That's the wrong place. We're going to go here. Head up. And now... And we're going to follow the outer perimeter of the map, and we're going to make sure that we hit all of these arrays that are here in order to go. Doesn't matter what we trade there, just as long as we get to keep the Wizbot. There we go. Activate this here. Alright. And now for Golly. Oh, I didn't want to take a Meebot. That's really bad, but whatever. A Meebot's gonna cost us a little bit of time every time we get it, but whatever. It's fine. So, oh, excuse me. We're gonna see the next boss fight in a little bit, but she is the reason why we play this offline. Because she will actually try to connect to the internet, and you don't want her to do that, because that just wastes time. It is a neat fight, though. We're gonna come into this fight here. We are going to place this here, and the Wizbot right here. There we go. And we're just simply going to win this game right here. It does take us about a turn or two, but it's not that bad. There we go. Activate that. Into the next boss, Golly. So one of the interesting things about Golly is that she tries to connect to the internet, and it takes her a second to realize that she can't on console, unfortunately. But it's generally faster if she's just not able to. And what ends up happening is... Give me a second, let me clean this up. One of the other things that she can do is she can pull from your friends list to pull up random people. But I'm gonna be real, I have no idea who any of those people are. Because if you can't get actual friends list, if she can't get your actual friends list, she'll just make up friends for you. Which, very nice from her. And now we're going to just create a card here. We're going to make a card that costs 3 energy. Is 5-1, and the stats and the things that we wanted to have are going to be flying and brittle. There we go. The look does not matter, and it's the big fat 2000. She's gonna try to send it out, but we can't do that. So now she's just gonna add it to our hand. And hey, look at that, we have 3 energy. There we go, we win. That's Golly. And you might be wondering, hey, didn't you say that you would lose the Wizbot if it died? I did, but it didn't die. So it doesn't matter. So once the light turns on there, we're actually going to go back to the main menu and then pop back into the game. And now we're coming into the end game. The reason why we do this is because there's actually supposed to be a puzzle, another set of like captchas that you solve, and you're supposed to go see the other scribes, and they'll tell you, hey, like, you gotta take care of Poe when all this is happening. Because now we're in plot. This is endgame, by the way. You go talk to Poe, and he straight up, and he just tells you, hey, you made it so that I can upload myself onto the internet, and everybody can play Inscryption forever, and nothing can stop me. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna take over every computer. But then, at 68%, Fleshy appears and kills Poe. And now the other scribes aren't really sure what to do. Now they're just thinking that they can live forever, but Gamora decides that maybe it's best if everything is gone. So she goes in and completely deletes everything. There are a handful of moments in here. This is largely going to be a about 6-minute auto-scroller, but for what's about to come up, there are some points that we do have to control, and unfortunately, we're about to see one of my favorite aesthetics in this game, don't do more, and we don't see more of it at all. And it makes me very sad. Please, Daniel Mullen, give me DLC so that we can play in the Gamora setting. I beg of you. You'll see what I mean in a bit. All we're going to do here is we're going to turn right, grab this epitaph, put it in, grab this one, put it in as well. Grab this one, put it in. And now we're going to sit down with Grimora and have one last game with her. And just look at this aesthetic. It's so cool. It looks so good. And unfortunately, like, so much time went into this, and it looks so cool, and I'm so sad that we can't do more with it. Unfortunately, though, you don't have to win it. Even if you beat it and get to the boss, all that happens is a neat little Easter egg occurs, and then she's deleted. It's faster just to lose, because then everything gets deleted anyway. You get one last handshake with Grimora. It's time to rest. And she's gone. And we move on to the next one. To Leshy, where this all started. And it's the same scenario here. All we're going to do is just mash and turn until it's over. There's a reason why I say Leshy just wanted everybody to have a good time and play his game. And that's because that's all he really wanted to do. He gives us back the original deck that we had at the beginning. And all this is you just end turn and just enjoy your game with him. That's it. All he wanted was just to have a fun time. He just wanted to be a game that people could play. Oh, I didn't want to play the squirrel, but whatever, doesn't matter. And eventually, in due time, give it a moment. We end our turn. One more round occurs. Leshy is gone. We get a handshake. And there he goes. But we're not quite done yet. We have one more person to take care of. I'm going, for curiosity's sake, to compare against my PB. Oh wow, I am okay. Yep. This is a big PB. This is a big PB. We have Magnificus. But here's the thing. We're just gonna be hanging out and just watching each other. Nothing else is gonna happen. But there is one thing that I know for sure. It's time to duel. And I figured in the spirit of this, I would talk about a deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! That I like quite a bit, that is not very good, but it is quite fun, and I figured just for fun, maybe even as like a little incentive, should I send this to marathons or whatnot, this would be a little donation incentive, if possible. I want to talk to you all about sushi. Just for a little bit. I want to talk to you all about sushi and time-traveling thieves from outer space, because this is one of my favorite decks that I have played in Yu-Gi-Oh! And it is quite a lot of fun. And you got nowhere to go. You got 6 minutes. You got time to kill. We can just hang out. We can talk about this. So, here's my thing. I love this deck that I'm about to show you so much, and it is so silly. It is literally warships built from sushi. That's the deck. It is warships built completely out of sushi, and it is so silly and so much fun just to play because you can make very large boats that can destroy everything. Hi, Bo. I am recording a run of Inscryption that's ending right now, and it's a 6-minute auto-scroller. So I am doing something dumb. I'm going to show the sushi deck. So here's what you need to know about this deck. First of all, it's entirely built around sushi and being made to order for giant warships. So let's go over what some of the core cards are in here. Some of the main cards for the actual archetype itself. Magnificence is just going to be doing some. Don't worry about it, guy. I got everybody occupied. Don't worry about it. I'll mash through your text. I got you. Don't even sweat it, friend. Unless this already took all that time. Or did it? No, it did not. Okay. So, the Suship deck, or Gunkin Suship if you want to be proper, is built around 3 cards in particular, which would be these. The Gunkin Suship Shari. Normal monster, 2000 attack, 0 defense, and pretty much all of the cards in the deck are built around that. There are a handful of support cards. I run Shari at 3, but I also run Shari Red at 3. The reason why is because it counts as Shari pretty much everywhere except when attached as Xyz material. What's Xyz material mean? If you gotta ask me that, you don't play Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's okay. I still respect you. The whole gimmick and theme of it is Shari is the foundation, the bedrock of the deck. Oh, it seems like the run's already ending. No? Okay, he's still good. So, Shari is the foundation of the deck, and it's supposed to be the foundation and bedrock of all of the other boats that go in, or all the other pieces of sushi that go into making a boat for the suships. So I also run 2 copies of Gunkin Suship Shirao, which is pretty much just a better way to special summon cards from the deck. I also have Uni, which can special summon itself if you control a Shari, and lets you search out all other copies of Shari from your deck to your hand, as well as special summon them. It also does some level modulation for some of the Xyz monsters later. And then Ikura, which if you can stack your deck, which is supposed to be like stacking your order for sushi, with Shari onto the top of it, it can special summon it right away, which is extremely useful. In terms of spells involving the Suships, I run 3 Gunkin Suship Seaside Supper Spot. You special summon or normal summon any Suship monster, you get to add another one to the top of the deck, which if you stack it with Shari, summon an Ikura, activate Ikura's effect, you can summon another Shari right away, get your Xyz materials going. What else do I have? I have one that just came out like a few months ago. I'm also running 3 Gunkin Suship Catch of the Day, which is another card that lets you pretty much stack your deck and immediately summon cards to go into your Xyz monsters. And you might be wondering, where the hell does time-traveling thieves from space come? Well, time-traveling thieves from space get hungry, so they might want some sushi. Yeah, I run the Time Thief engine in this, which consists of 3 Time Thief Adjuster, which lets me send on summon a Time Thief card to the graveyard. Oh, it looks like we're ending. Well, I didn't get talk about sushi as much. Oh well, that's okay. Just put these cards back so that my desk is not a complete mess. Time is going to be coming up very soon. Magnificus comes to shake our hand on a game well played in which we didn't do anything except I talked about sushi for a handful of minutes.
Quick cue.
Uh-huh.
Time estimate?
A minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm almost done. And now, we're just going to walk back and forth, talk to the woodcarver who's going to give us a warning about the data that's left in the game, and once we interact with this, it's time. There we go. That was Inscryption, and I'm going to stop this here so that you don't see all what happens. But thank you for watching. 148 flat. That's a PB by like 8 minutes. Oh my god. That's really good for console. Wow. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your